This Thursday, the national government announced that it has modified the starting time of the dry law that will be enforced during the elections weekend.
From the National Commission of Electoral Guarantees, the Minister of the Interior, Daniel Palacios, confirmed that the government modified Decree 840 that established the dry law for the presidential election this Sunday. The measure will begin on Saturday, May 28 at 6 in the afternoon until Monday, May 30 at 12 noon.
We have modified the dry law decree. This as a result of the multiple requests from asobares of different guilds that have requested that as a consequence of the economic reactivation and the blow that this sector has had, it could start at 6 in the afternoon. The national government has opted for this measure, and the dry law will start on Saturday at 6 in the afternoon until Monday at noon.
In response to this modification, the Coral Palace issued a departmental decree which establishes the dry law timeable for the island for May 29 election. The documents ratify the national timetable and establishes a curfew on May 29 from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and on May 30, 2022, except for military forces and private companies in the exercise of their function.
After the work table held in the morning hours, protesters opened one of the lanes of the Vinta de Julio Avenue after it had been blocked for more than a month.
Last April 18th, Rizal leaders of the island began a peaceful protest at the entrance of the facilities of the Office of Control of Circulation and Residence, OCRE. This asking for some guarantees and making the request for a rigorous review of the entrances to the island. Subsequently, they blocked the road and also prohibited the entrance of people to the office facilities. Therefore, since that date, the processes in the OCRE have been paused. Today, more than a month later, and after a dialogue in the morning hours with the departmental government, protesters decided to enable a section of the avenue to resume the flow on this main road, especially considering the upcoming elections to be held on Sunday, May 29. Also present during the meeting were the Secretary of Government, Kayan Howard Sanchez, the Ombudsman's Office, the Departmental National Police, and the Attorney General's Office of San Andres, who were pleased with the agreed commitments and satisfied with the partial unblocking of 20 de Julio Avenue. It is important to emphasize that the protest continues and that next June 2nd and 3rd, there will be a dialogue table where the Rizal community and local authorities will discuss issues concerning the demands, complaints, and petitions for which they maintain the blockade.
The National Police revealed details of the investigations and collection of evidentiary material, allowing the clarification of the murder of artist Luis Carlos Bustamante Fernandez, better known as Luchin.
Videos and photographic material are found where Mario David Donado is observed at the crime scene causing the murder.
Like a police TV series, this is how the authorities investigated the alleged perpetrator of the murder of Luis Carlos Bustamante Fernandez. Since the discovery of the victim's body, officers of the SIHIN began the inspection of the place of the crime to collect evidentiary material.
SIHIN investigators and laboratory technicians conducted 2 inspections at the scene where evidence was found, in addition to the necropsy of the body that reveals that the victim, before his death, had a fight because he had injuries, and even in his right hand he was holding curly hair strands and dyes.
These video cameras near the scene of the crime allowed the officers to reconstruct the step-by-step of the alleged perpetrator of the murder.
In addition to the analysis of more than 100 hours of video cameras, we were able to determine that a person with very particular characteristics had been at the scene, and therefore it was determined that the murderer had a thin build, medium height, and when walking, he had a disability on his right foot. The cameras allowed us to trace the route used by the murderer to get to the crime scene.
The analysis conducted by the investigation group assigned in this case made an inspection in the nearby neighborhood and managed to find a man with similar characteristics to those of the alleged killer of the dancer better known as Luchin.
In this sector, we located a person with very similar characteristics to whom was found in his possession a stolen cell phone and was captured for handling stolen goods. This person is identified as Mario David Donado.
When conducting the search of the home of the alleged perpetrator, the officers found the clothes he used the day of the unfortunate event, which had blood, but this was the beginning of the discovering what had really happened on March 16 due to the analysis made to the cell phone that was seized, as it had videos and photographs of the lurid murder. The video shows details of how Donado hit and then posed with the body, which is evidence that allowed the judge to determine the indictment against the accused.
We're 2 days away from the 2022 presidential election. The Secretary of Government reminds us of the polling stations.
At 8 o'clock this Sunday morning, May 29, the voting station will be open both nationally and locally. Recall on the island of San Andres that there are 7 polling stations, counting the one at the New Hope Penitentiary. And in Old Providence, there is 1 polling station. For that reason, the Secretary of Government, Kayan Howard, reminds the community of the different points.
Para este domingo 29 de mayo.
For this Sunday, May 29th, the voting stations are Bolivariano School, Luis Amigo School, Natania Departmental School, and San Luis Coliseum, Brooks Hill School, and the Esfuerzo School. These are the 6 voting points on the island, plus the one at the New Hope Prison.
The estimated number of voters for this presidential election is 51,584 people, divided as follows. At the Bolivariano Institute, it is estimated that 16,166 people will vote. At the Natania School, 75,996 people are eligible to vote. At the Brooks Hill School, 5,237 people are eligible to vote. At the San Luis Coliseum, 4,460. At the Luis Amigo School, 9,470 people, and 4,025 at the El Esfuerzo School. And in the prison, 97 people are eligible to exercise their right to do so. It is estimated that 4,000 people will vote at each polling table. Finally, the Secretary invites the community to follow the rules established both nationally and locally by the departmental government and the military institution.
And through a communique, the National Register Office gave details of the number of potential voters in our islands.
In our archipelago, there are a total of 132 tables authorized for next presidential elections on Sunday, May 29. These were distributing a total of 8 voting posts. The potential votes of our island are 51,584, of which 26,724 are women and 25,860 are men. Now making an analysis at the national level, in Colombia, 38,029,475 citizens will be able to vote in 189 voting booths, which will be installed in 12,263 voting stations. Abroad, 9,072,764 people are eligible to vote in 1,343 voting booths, distributing 250 voting stations in 67 countries. The overseas voting period began on May 23rd and ends this Sunday, May 29. Citizens can check their polling station at the website of the Registraduría Nacional del Estado Civil by clicking on the button Consult Your Polling Place or in the mobile application Info Votantes.
And according to the forecast of the Institute of Hydrology and Meteorology and Environmental Studies, IDEAM, the election this Sunday, May 29, will be experienced with sunshine for most of the day.
In the early morning, some light drizzle could occur, but then it will be a sunny day until afternoon, when cloudiness is expected to enter and increase rainfall, which could occur over Caribbean regions.
For the election day of this weekend, the IDEAM predicts that on Saturday we will have predominantly dry weather in the morning hours in much of the territory. The rains will be concentrated in the afternoon hours in much of the Caribbean region and in the Pacific region. For Sunday, we will have light rain in the Southern Caribbean, and we will have an election day with sunshine.
The director of IDEAM recommends citizens to go vote in the morning and early afternoon.
And the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts an above-normal 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, which would be the 7th consecutive season above average.
NOAA's Outlook issue on May 24, 2022 for the Zero Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1st through November 30, predicts a 65% chance of an above normal season, a 25% chance of a near normal season, and a 10% chance of below normal season. For the 2022 hurricane season, NOAA forecasts a range of 14 to 21 named tropical storms, of which 6 to 10 could become hurricanes with winds of 119 kilometers per hour or greater, including 3 to 6 major hurricanes of category 3, 4, or 5, with winds of 178 kilometers per hour or greater. NOAA provides these range with 70% confidence. The list of names has been published and includes Alex, Bonnie, Colin, Daniel, Earl, Fiona, Gaston, Hermine, Ina, Julia, Carl, Lisa, Martin, Nicole, among others.
It's never too early to prepare for the devastating impacts of hurricanes. And while we're here today to preview an outlook of what trends will shape this year's hurricane season, it's crucial to remember that it only takes one storm to damage your home, neighborhood, and community.
The increased activity anticipated for this hurricane season is attributed to several climatic factors, including the ongoing La Niña that will likely persist through the hurricane season, warmer than average sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea, weaker Atlantic tropical trade winds, and an increase in the West African monsoon.
And now it's time for news of the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina with Millicent O'Neill.
Good evening to all our viewers. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Catalina. The Comptroller General's Office, through the Collegiate Management of San Andres, was in Providence executing the strategy Mobile Comptroller in Your Neighborhood.
In order to get closer to the community for the attention of complaints, to make known the function of the Comptroller's Office, and to promote social and participatory control in the framework of the execution of resources, the Provincial Comptroller was present in the municipality.
Most of the complaints are related to construction, repairs, and housing. In Providence and Santa Catalina, there is a series of complaints that we must receive in attention to the community, and we will transmit them directly to vinta and to the Risk Management Unit in order to give them an answer and a solution in the event of a solution.
Progress in projects such as the Lovers Lane Bridge as part of the Colombia Commitment Strategy were also visited.
We had a meeting with the Mayor's Office, the Contractor, and the Auditor's Office. A work table was held in which they told us that there will be a suspension to the works from May 20th to June 20th due to the transportation of materials. At this moment, the bridge is delivered to the community for the service. It is being used, and the construction of a platform is still pending.
También se le está haciendo seguimiento al Colegio Junín.
What the Mayor's Office is telling us is that they are in the process of contracting an auditor to reactivate and finish the construction.
Las denuncias recopiladas serán remitidas a las instituciones correspondientes.
On the other hand, several educational institutions and child development centers have been celebrating Afro-Colombian Day this week. Let's see.
Children and young people of the municipality have been celebrating the Afro-Colombian Day this week. The day commemorates the liberation of the enslaved Afro people in the Colombian territory. The youngest children of the Ludoteca Naves celebrated with cultural demonstrations.
The objective of this activity is for children to recognize and love their culture and their identity. We also took the opportunity to play the Villa Juego with the parents, which is a loving upbringing strategy implemented by the national government. This Afro-Colombian celebration will be extended until Saturday with the second childhood group that ranges from 6 to 12 years old and older.
Educational institutions have been carrying out cultural programs with typical dances, dramas, and declamations in honor of the Afro-Colombianity.
We keep up the Afro-Colombianidad Day. This year, our school, Centro Educativo Bombona, with Boyacá School, we're rescuing the value of our culture, our heritage, everything, and to transmit it to our children and make this day be a special day.
The celebration in the framework of the liberation of the slaves will continue until next week. It is important to note that the emancipation process in the archipelago began several years earlier than in the interior of the country.
And the reconstruction of the Black Power Coliseum in Batam House is progressing at 60%.
The reconstruction of the most complete sports arena for basketball in the municipality could be completed in about a month and a half, as announced by the construction manager of the Coliseum in Batam House, being rebuilt by the Ministry of Sports.
Can serve us as a shelter because we will have the security that the roof will not be blown. Besides that, it will protect the wood that was damaged on this occasion, will be protected as much as possible, taking into account that it has a very high cost and that it will be something professional here for the island. We are moving forward. We are at 60% of the work and we hope to finish it in about a month and a half.
The construction can be used as a shelter in case of another hurricane, since it is designed to resist strong winds.
Was calculated to withstand winds of more than 250 kilometers per hour and not have any type of displacement or settlement or any type of problems in the footings. This is why you can see the holes that are being made to reinforce the footings and that it has a good base so that it does not move.
The internal design will remain the same as it was before.
This is all we have for tonight for this section of Old Providence and Ketlina. Continue in San Andres, Lisa, with more Teleislas news. Good night.